Righty Jim, Kipper Weekly Report, March 21st. Retraction. Border crisis is what we start off with this week. The Biden administration seems to not want to acknowledge that there is a crisis at the border, the southern border with Mexico and Central America, with the number of illegal immigrants wanting to cross it and coming into America. It's streaming across in numbers not seen in years. The numbers by the end of March will equal what came in during 2020. They are not doing a good job of testing people. They are not for COVID. They're not doing a good job. They are doing the same processes, which were actually started during the Obama administration when Joe Biden was vice president, of putting the children in cages and separating parents from children. One of the things that no one ever explains when they scream about separating children from parents is that's a requirement, because there is no way to verify the people that when they bring children across are actually their parents or relatives or even related to the children. They had one during the Trump administration, they had some reunification, and something like 45% of the quote unquote parents did not come back to claim their children, because it turns out biologically they weren't their parents. They just grabbed a minor and walked across the border with them because they figured it was an easier way to get into the country. So they don't discuss it. The other point is that because of that, by law, they are required to separate them until they can prove that that really is a relative and just not some smuggler, or worse, even a human trafficker that's picked up a child as they've come across the border. So it's really for the children's protection. It's not anything to be mean or ill-spirited. It's something to protect the children from child molesters and trafficking operations. But again, it has come up again with the Biden administration. There are, like we said, hundreds and thousands a day coming across the border. They refuse to call it a crisis. They're just dismissing that. And of course, they're blaming the Trump administration for any of the problems that they're having on the border. It was Trump's fault that he dismantled the operation. Well, the Trump administration had cut the numbers to significantly lower amounts. And therefore, when Biden said, oh, sure, come on over, when I'm elected president, we'll take care of you, it's coming home to roost now. So we'll keep following up on that story as it continues. Second story is talking about the Washington Post retraction this week. Washington Post earlier in the week issued a retraction to a story where it claimed Donald Trump had said that during a call with Georgia election officials in early January, that he told them to find the fraud, and that you'd be a national hero if you find the fraud in the election results. Well, Donald Trump didn't say that, and Washington Post made it up. Turns out which is why they issued the retraction. Oddly enough, they issued the retraction right above the same headline on the internet. So while they've retracted their comments, they didn't change the headline, which was misleading and implying Trump had done something wrong. So they're sort of covering their keisters legally, but they still want the people to believe that Trump did something wrong because, of course, from the liberal Washington Post, the fact that Donald Trump was born was possibly the original sin of the American people. So the question is, do they really care that they were wrong? Or are they just more upset at the fact that they actually got called out for it because the actual audio recording is surfaced, which they didn't have and they did the reporting. So they weren't doing a very accurate job of reporting. I've always said that the media on the left and the left in general had what I call a BAM, a BAM mentality when it came to dealing with Donald Trump by any means necessary. They didn't care about hook or by crook. They didn't care how misleading the stories would be. They didn't care about what they had to do to get rid of Donald Trump, but they wanted rid of Trump by any means necessary. Any semi-legal means necessary. They weren't going to have him assassinated. Nothing crazy like that. But they wanted Donald Trump gone, and they were going to do everything they can by hook or by crook to do it. Whether it was making up stories, whether it was the whole Russia hoax that never panned out to be anything, even though Eric Swalwell and others in Congress still swear by it, or whether it was the fine folks hoax from Charlottesville, where he claimed that the white supremacists were fine folks, which of course didn't happen either. But again, why would you want to get facts in the middle of a story when you can try to make Trump look bad? So, we'll see how those things go. Righty, Jim. Have a good week.